Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber once again here with Lucky Chi to discuss the Amazing Spider-Man.
What's going on, guys?
When we last talked, we were sort of like through the Amazing Spider-Man Last Remains. Let's see, storyline. Let's see. For the bit recap, it begins with issue 50, following up from the Sins Past sort of storyline, in which in that issue it's revealed that the infamous Kindred is revealed to be Harry Osborne. Shocker, isn't it, Lucky Chi?
That's a big shock.
Other things that happen in the issue is apparently the supposed demise of Sin Eater. Spider-Man's spider friends possessed by demons from all the sins he's been cleansing. Norman Osborn is now apparently good since his sins are clean, and Spider-Man has gone to Doctor Strange.
How strange. Alright, it's horrible, but keep going.
Then we're followed by what's happened with Hunted is 50.lr for, Last Remains. In which it seems to explore some of the more outside stuff of what's going on. For example, Spider-Man's struggle against the 6 demon spiders, while Norman is discussing with Laura Raincroft. And I've forgotten what the psychiatrist's name is.
You're not the only one. I kind of forgot myself.
Yeah. But, Dr. Caffer, who I believe was originally killed off by Dan Slott in his Superior Spider-Man run, but was brought back through that clone conspiracy. But yeah. But, most people just don't like talking about it. But yeah. Anyway, we get glimpses of how Spider-Man escaped his demon spiders, as Norman Osborn's explaining, his son. Let's see. At the end of the issue, I believe it is revealed that Norman has, Mary Jane Watson has come back, and Norman Osborn, for him, is the only person he can trust to stop Harry. I have to admit, I welcome the return of Mary Jane Watson, and I think many of us have been wondering it's about dang time, wouldn't you say, Lucky Chi?
When was the last time she should? Because wasn't the last time she showed up and was not LR wise, but was it? It was during the
I believe
Carnage storyline. I think because it was and I only remember this from the trade paperback stuff, but I think
I believe it was issue 32.
It might have been 32, yeah, because it was a part of it was during volume 6, I believe, as far as the trade paperback goes, and her and Peter were having that chat, and he was holding out the ring. I think that's the last time you kind of see her. Yeah.
Just a quick correction. It was actually issue 29. It's
29, okay.
Arrivals / departure.
Yeah. That's the last one I think I remember seeing her.
Although, even though she was absent from the main run, she had her own spin-off series, The Amazing Mary Jane, I believe, in which she was working with a movie with Mysterio. As we explore, as I think it was just like a witty sort of comic mini commentary of superhero movies or something. But I would not know because I have not seen this. I have not really read it. I mean, I got the first issue. I may even have one of the other two, but I have not been keeping up. Granted, pandemic has not helped either.
It is a thing.
Yep. Anyway, MJ's back, and it's clear she's going to play a role in the story. And let's see for issue. Now, one thing I do like about issue 50 is I think Doctor Strange says, "Let's see, you get consequences when you do deals with with devils or demons." Anyway, I believe. Let's see, Cindy Moon has been captured by Doctor Strange as they're trying to explore the demons, I think. From what I'm recalling from the issue with Doctor Strange going for his book with some magic hand. The Hand of Vishaniti, I believe. I'm not familiar, but I suppose more, let's see, diehard Marvel comic book lore fans would be able to tell. As apparently, however, Spider-Man has Black Cat steal it. as he wants to go into the dimension himself, and apparently, he sees this chaotic dimension where a centipede's grabbing MJ, and he tries to save her, and he ends up at a tombstone. Ends up arriving in the party of kindred with all the dead corpses of of his loved ones, friends, and all that stuff. You see Gwen, you see Captain George Stacy. I think you see Flash Thompson. Let's see. I think who else? I'm trying to figure out. It's very hard with skeletal remains, but I think we'll probably find out next issue, which is 51.LR. But yeah, kind of twisted when you think about it.
It is.
Let's see. Hold on a second. Damn fucking. Let's see. Let's see. Damn bloody. Let's see. Advertisings. But anyway, the next issue ends up being following Kindred as he wakes up as his followers try to get him to sense, where most of them have been arrested, while the others are starting to get looted. However, Sin Eater is convinced that he still must try and appease his master, Kindred. So he ends up going to try and capture, I believe, Morland, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we end up seeing Doctor Strange confronting Black Cat for his stealing, but it turns out to be a fake. And we're also getting MJ being rescued by Norman Osborne from one of the demon spiders. So yeah, as you can tell, MJ is not very trusting of Norman Osborne, which is for obvious reasons.
I mean, who can blame her after everything that he's done?
But yeah, but yes. Anyway, Sin Eater is now going. It's having a crisis of faith, but now he wants to try and restore the honor to try and regain his master's favor. Let's see, by dealing with the spiders. But first, he must capture Morland, which I have to admit, quite a surprise, since we have not seen Morland since Spider-Geddon.
Yeah, it has been a while since we've seen him, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, issue 52, we continue with Spider-Man's dinner with Kindred. Of course, we end up seeing, get a confirmation of all the people that are dead, such as George Stacy, Jean D. Wolfe, Marla Jameson, Flash, Gwenny, and even Uncle Ben.
Yeah. That threw me for a loop. I remember reading that, and I was like, okay.
Which, of course, naturally gets Spider-Man furious. He ends up punching Kindred. They have a bit of a fight, but I believe Kindred being with even Spider-Man punching a hole through Kindred. But let's see, due to Kindred being a demon, you can't really die from that. And Spider-Man gets defeated as he ends up and when he wakes up, he ends up seeing his Spidey friends. Let's see, all in demonic monster forms, causing chaos. Let's see, Spider-Man offers a deal. Let's see, spare them and take him, kind of thing, which Kindred agrees to. Let's see, the Spider heroes are removed from the sins of all the villains they took. Let's see, with Kindred now going after Peter Parker, seemingly look like he's snapped his neck around. Which, ouch, that is dark. Seemingly like he's been killed. Next issue is 52LR, which is for God's sake, I hate these bloody pop-up things. Honestly, I should probably find I really need to find a more safer online site, but yeah. That I should find where all my comics that I bought of this, but heck, I'm a bit in a rush. Yeah, by the way, people, do actually buy the actual issues or digitally download them. Let's see, legally, of course, or even just buy the volumes when they come. But yeah. But anyway, let's see. And we follow up with MJ waking up, let's see, listening to Norman Osborne as the Spidey heroes are trying to save people, but due to their earlier actions, they're all terrified of them. Which is kind of understandable. Let's see. So, yeah. Let's see. Doctor Strange arrives to help them out. Let's see. MJ tries to make a run from it from Norman Osborn until he says Harry's name. Anyway, Doctor Strange explains what's going on between them with the kindred thing. Let's see what Jessica, I believe. Let's see, Madam Web. Let's see, calming the other Spider heroes to go follow Doctor Strange as Black Cat is explaining that Spider-Man is in danger. MJ at first does not believe about Harry, but then of course Doctor Ravencroft. Let's see, I don't know. Let's see, we know the Doctor. Let's see, Dr. Calfler. Let's see, convinces MJ that Norman Osborn is telling the truth. The issue, I believe, ends with, let's see, Sin-Eater's followers giving him a formula in which, which he throws on the floor to turn his followers into Spidey monsters. As it reveals it to be some remains from the Spider Island, from the Spider Queen from Spider Island storyline. So they've been turned into Spider people so that Morlun will come hunt them down for their energy due to his thing. Did you just get a Skype message, or?
Oh yeah, I did. Forgot that I signed it open. My bad.
Fair enough, but anyway. The Spidey heroes are at Doctor Strange's lair as he's asked, let's see, Black Cat, let's see, to guard the hand due to the fact she was the one who stole it. Was Doctor Strange and the Spidey heroes go into a magic dimension, in which is a bit of an apocalyptic thing while they're being looked over by this sort of what appears to be a demonic version of Mary Jane Watson. But so, yeah. Let's see. So many people to theorize, is this like the One More Day universe or something?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yep. Anyway, we're gonna get some glimpses of it appears to be Harry Osborn's house, where we see Liz Allen sleeping and even Harry's son Normie sleeping. Let's see, Peter Parker waking up in what appears to be a rehash scene of the final few pages of One More Day, where let's see, Aunt May is saying the tiger thing, and Peter's heading for the party, in which he ends up seeing Flash. But this time, Peter's due to Peter having all the memories, he's like, Flash, are you alive, kind of thing? Anyway, we see glimpses of NJ, but anyway, it ends up... But as the elevator opens, we end up meeting Harry Osborn and Carly Cooper, of when it was revealed that Harry Osborn's alive again! And we're introduced to the then love interest post One More Day for the Brand New Day era. Let's see, Carly Cooper. Kindred goes down to what appears to be a basement with Peter Parker on top of a sort of table-like tomb. And let's see, in Peter's dreams, he's trying to go to MJ, but Harry's just stopping him. As we see, Harry seems pretty sinister. Anyway.
Kind of does, doesn't he?
And anyway, let's see, we kind of get a sort of speak of the devil kind of thing. Let's see, I think Kindred is starting to wake up Peter Parker, or maybe even revive him, because he might have been dead for a bit. Anyway, Kindred unmasks himself, revealing himself to be Harry Osborn to Peter Parker, which I think is where we left off last time. When we did the stream.
Did we? No, I don't think they revealed his face yet. Did they?
No, they revealed
where we left off.
They revealed his face in issue 53, I believe.
Okay, so we left off on 52? Or was 51? I'm trying to remember. Because I know it's been a while since we've talked about the Spencer run.
Oh yeah. I believe it was around issue 53 or 54 that we talked about.
Okay.
But anyway, Morlun in issue 53.lr is beginning his hunt for like the demon spider things. He kills them and hungers. I think we end up getting an explanation about how he managed to escaped from the police and stuff, but he ends up fighting Sin Eater. Let's see. From what Sin Eater can deduce, that Morlun's sin is just his natural hunger. But yeah, they end up fighting, and it looks like Morlun's just about to kill Sin Eater, but he prepared a trap by having his gun set on some sort of wiring to shoot Morlun in the back, cleansing him of his sins. As we move on to the Spider Heroes and Doctor Strange exploring this dreamlike world, apparently. Apparently, I think it's Peter's own mind, but we get a lot of an interesting thing where, let's see, Madam Web and Spider-Gwen have a bit of a talk where, let's see, it's revealed that, let's see, Spider-Gwen is a bit angry and a bit disappointed of, Peter's choice. But yeah, she's not happy with how he did his choice and all that stuff. And not to mention the fact that, well, the choice ended up having some very major consequences. Anyway, they end up being attacked by these sort of spider-like demons. One of which is a giant version of the Kingpin. A bit weird. But let's see, and there's other four, armed one, which, I have not, who seems to have some importance to Peter, but he just doesn't know. Okay, then there's a zombified version of May Parker, which gives you more thinking of, is this one more day? Which makes you wonder if this is the Kingpin, his assassin, and Aunt May for the Black and Black storyline. And then we get Aunt Mary Jane, which she also turns into a sort of demon. I believe Doctor Strange holds them off while the Spidey heroes escape, but waiting for them is Sin Eater. So yeah, quite the good cliffhanger there. But anyway, for issue 54, let's see, we finally get the conversation between Peter and Harry, which Peter is in a bit denial about what happened, given the fact that when we last saw Harry Osborne, he seemed to be fine from, I believe, the Red Goblin Carnage storyline.
Yeah, it was one of the very last things that Slot did before the switchover happened. But
yeah,
I don't know if I mentioned it in the last one, but I don't think the Red Goblin storyline was all that bad. I think, in my opinion, I think where it suffered from was pacing and consistency is the one thing I'll say, because it did feel like it was kind of going by at a blitz pace.
I also believe some characterizations were questioned.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, Peter and Harry have a fight in which I think Kindred has killed him quite a few times during it, making sure he suffers again and again for his sins, particularly for all the people that have died and all the friends he puts in danger. But yeah, I believe we get some sort of implied, let's see, Peter's sins and all that stuff, but we'll get more into that later. But anyway, I think he even criticizes Peter's choice of what he did with the Sin Eater with Norman Osborn, which turns his friends into spider monsters. You made and then implies that his sins were trying to make a bargain with a deal with the devil. Let's see, but
a lot of devil references.
Yeah,
way too much. Well, okay, maybe not way too much, but it was a trend that was are we really going back there? Because
and Peter
happened more than once.
Yeah. But then, let's see, we get sort of Peter ends up seeing that Sin Eater's just about to go and face his friends. let's see, forcing saying that he will not stop until Peter confesses his sins. And Peter sees that MJ is also at the cemetery, in which he's horrified because what may go down. But anyway, so the next issue, it's interesting enough. We get the issue 200 of Spectacular Size Man. You know, scenes from that in which Harry has kidnapped MJ and they have a talk on like the bridge for like the first few pages, which is very interesting because that was the issue that Harry Osborne was supposed to have remained dead.
I know, right?
Of course, got brought back. Let's see, Norman taking her to the graveyard, and she goes off to come. Let's see, try and help. Let's see, Harry. But anyway, as we see, Sin Eater is confronting the Spidey heroes. They fight, of course. Let's see, with eventually Madam Web offering to be shot. Let's see, which he ends up getting shot. Let's see, her sins and abilities go into Sin Eater, and it ends up getting Madam Web's future sight abilities. And ends up learning, seeing the future with MJ, Harry, and Peter, and learning who his master is. Let's see. And he ends up realizing that all he did was for nothing, and he ends up shooting himself in the head, committing suicide, and reversing all the sins as Madam Web comes back to life, and I believe all the powers and the sins go back to where they originally belonged. And so the Sin Eater is once again dead. Which, okay, fair enough. I have to admit, I figured Sin Eater was going to thought he was going to bite the bucket with issue 50, but at least we got something with him falling on. Anyway, the issue ends with it seems like Norman Osborn not actually seeming possibly either his sins, back, or he was never lost his sins and is actually working with Kingpin to take down his son Harry. And then anyway, we go to issue 55, which is pretty much, I believe, supposed to be the last issue of which is technically, I believe, supposed to be the last issue of the main last remaining story thing. Though granted, issues 56 and 57 are like the post issue storylines, like postmodern thing, the aftermath.
Yeah.
But anyway, all the Spidey heroes are knocked out, and brought to sort of like a table where Kindred has Spider-Man. Took out. Bringing them to sort of dinner as to make Peter feel more guilty about his sins, I believe, and his selfishness. With Spider-Gwen saying, if you're going to kill us to mess with Peter, just go ahead and kill us. But, Harry is waiting for MJ to come up. As MJ enters the building, they end up having a talk. MJ reveals that he knows who he is. But however, it seems like they end up having a seat, but ask. Oops, I forgot I had alarms set for these times. Due to a little prank you had on me, but hey. Peter tries to fight Kindred, but once again gets defeated. But MJ tells him, stop, we're having dinner. So they end up having dinner while Norman Osborn is back in his Green Goblin, revealing that she's in. They have a bit of talk about the good old days. And what, Peter did, I believe. About, the secret of, Norman Osborn's father and how he supposedly killed him. But as we know, he came back from the Clone Saga, the death of Gwen Stacy. Green Goblin enters. And Kindred's about to try and harm all of the Spidey friends. Peter tries to convince Harry to turn himself in, but saying that this is his own fault, but Harry says, "You did this to me," as he's beating Peter, which seems to imply that more about, the one more day stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because as the whole conversation was going down, I kept thinking, like,
I mean, we even get a little flashback with the toast saying, "Yes, to friends, and a brand new day."
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, MJ saying he doesn't remember. As MJ says, let's see. MJ trying to convince Harry to stop this, saying that if you really want to have Peter hurt, you would take him, for the responsibility. Take someone he always loves. Harry is, of course, reluctant, but he eventually says, like, if this is what you want, MJ, he will do this. But before that can happen, Norman Osborne arrives with pumpkin guns and begins causing explosions. MJ gets caught in the blast fire. It looks like she's down for the count, but she's not dead. As revealed, as Kindred and Norman Osborn begin fighting, and Kingpin begins his sort of attack, which seems to be this black sort of shield thing. MJ is okay, as Peter ends up taking, I think, as he's on her arms and looks like kissing her for a thing, and the final issue goes black. I mean, page goes black, and it's like, it seems the conflict is concluded. Which I have to admit is not how I expected it to go down.
No, I didn't either.
But anyway, we've got the post remains stories, but yeah. We get a little flashback of Norman and Kingpin, as apparently they used a villain called Spot with their Dark Force dimension. Let's see. It's like Kingpin, I think even using Daredevil for a bit. But anyway, they use the Spot's abilities to trap, Harry Osborn in a black-like cube. And Ravencroft. Well, I think Dr. Calfer is saying, we're ready for the subject when he is. About it. Apparently, his vitals seem to not be active or something like that. But anyway, Kingpin arrives to Ravencroft. We see him sort of mocking Kindred there. And Kingpin ends up, Kindred, Norman reminding Kingpin they had a deal. Swift Norman says, "You can't hurt him like I can," and saying, "Let him have his fun." With Harry, which Kingpin agrees due to the fact he says, "You're my kind of monster, Norman, but don't try my patience. He's waited long enough to, harm Harry." Norman tells every doctor and scientist there to leave, and then once the air is cleared, it's revealed that Norman still actually does not have his sins, as he tries to plead with his son. To try and to let him help him and all that stuff. And it's revealed that MJ is pretending to be dead, but telling the tiger to play along. And it's revealed that Norman Osborn has been working with MJ during the entire time in order to save Harry. As we revealed that, Peter and MJ and all the Spider heroes leave the building as Harry's being captured. But yeah. As Norman goes on to what Harry has done for him through, the Sin Eater, and removed his sins. But it's also revealed that all the sins from all the other supervillains, have returned to them, and they've all busted out, like the Juggernaut. And Morlun. So yeah, all the villains are back to their old ways. Which I think we all expected to happen. But interesting enough, Kari Cooper is taking an taxi driver for and ends up turning out to be Overdrive, with his sins coming back. he wants to actually have a dinner with a supervillain. Well, the supervillain wants a dinner and a date with Carly Cooper. Talking about how he had done some wrong turns, but Carly Cooper seems to be the thing that got him to the right turn. So he's asking her to give him a chance for dinner, but Carly agrees to at least some coffee. And he leaves her as he goes off to prepare and so that stuff date. But anyway, we end up getting Randall and Aunt May. But it's revealed that none other than I'm trying to remember, Mr. Negative's alter ego Martin Lee has arrived at Feast, setting up the next little storyline. But anyway, with but as Kindred's being captured by Norman, and more flashbacks from Peter being captured by Norman and Spider-Man, he's saying how how they did this to him. Well, anyway, as the flashback ends, Spider-Man has arrived at Ravencroft. And we finally get to the last post remains a bit of the issue. Last remains postmodern with issue 57. With Peter and MJ. We go back a bit to talking with Peter and MJ. Seeing all right with Spidey then being confronted by the Spider-Gang. With Gwen talking about how mad she was with Peter's own choice. They were counting on him, and they made the wrong choice. With Peter, but before it goes further on, Peter tries to say, "Can you just give Peter a break?" But Madam demands some answers. Which Peter Parker. Then we go back to where he's going with Norman Osborne, demanding answers from Norman. Norman tried to plead with Spider-Man to help him and Kindred. However, Spider-Man has had enough and decides to go. But yeah. So anyway, if we feel that the Spider-Gang has ended up going off to try and find answers for themselves, and all that stuff, while Peter has left Norman because he's finally fed up with the Osborns and decided to let them deal with their own thing. However, Peter's not upset, but it's revealed that Kindred is right where he wants to be. And Carly Cooper is back with a bunch of corpses. Ends up looking and ends up trying to call, but it seems that one of the corpses tries to call Peter, but ends up being attacked by a centipede. With Peter returning to MJ, saying, with her asking, "It isn't over, is it?" And he says, "No, he isn't. It isn't." And that eventually concludes the Last Remains storyline. So I have to admit, Lucky G, what do you make of the Last Remains storyline from what we've seen?
I really like it, if I'm being perfectly honest. Now, I can definitely see some criticism from people who were like, it did feel a little anticlimactic, but, and at first I thought of it too, but once I started thinking more about the arc, I was thinking, well, hold on now, if this isn't the de facto end for Kindred, then of course there's still more that Spencer has planned.
Yeah.
So
clearly he's got a lot more planned, and from what the issues are implying, it's got to do with one more day.
Mm-hmm. But what about you? What was your take on it, Blue?
I figured Peter Parker. My impression is that Peter Parker was going to learn the sins that he did with one more day, but clearly this is not the case. But I will admit, there is some disappointings of what is going on, how it at first ended, but I do like the fact that currently Kindred is now, or Harry is now captured and in prison. Peter knows who he is. Norman Osborn is currently still a good guy, though I expect him to eventually become a bad guy because, well, it's Norman Osborn.
How would you feel if they completely just keep him good for the Spider-Man run?
I can't see it working, to be honest.
No, I can't either. I really can't.
Because face it, Norman Osborn is Spider-Man's arch nemesis. I mean, granted, yes, he was dead for 20 years until the Clone Saga, but in many ways,
I mean, it could be another scenario where maybe for like another 5-10 years, Norman's just good, and then all of a sudden, okay, he's back.
But it's like you can't really keep Spider-Man's arch villain from being evil. Granted, I have no idea where. Granted, I know they had Magneto become good, then an anti-hero, and then villain back and forth. But I have no idea what's going on with Magneto.
I mean, they could make it a case where maybe Norman plays the anti-hero role, but I don't know how well that would work out, especially with everything he's.
I believe they tried to do the anti-hero thing with Green Goblin with Ben Urch's nephew, Phil Urch or something.
Mm-hmm.
Who ended up becoming the Golden Goblin in MCU 2, but I believe he's now dead in the main timeline. But let's see. But oh well. But it seems like the Brand New Day Superior Spider-Man seemed to have butchered whatever redeeming qualities the character had. But yeah, I do like. Let's see. Granted, I still argue. I probably say Hunted is probably Nick Spencer's best event.
Yeah,
for me, because you got a full-on, beginning built up to it, beginning and conclusion with it for the most part.
I agree.
So yeah, this feels like this is the beginning of like one big story arc leading up to another big story arc. But there are some things that have been taking place. Let's see. So the things that have lasted. Norman Osborn is apparently good, and Harry Osborn is stuck in prison, and Peter knows who he is actually. So there's all that stuff, and there appears to be some setup for like Martin Lee for the next story thing. Kingpin making his move, and apparently Carly Cooper being attacked by a giant centipede. At the moment, from the issues that we've looked forward to, we still do not know what her fate is, but I assume that she's at least kidnapped. I do not think Nick Spencer is going to kill her off after using her for quite a few bits of build-up.
I'd be shocked if he actually did kill her off. Like, could you imagine the next time we see her, it's like,
she's dead.
Yeah.
Granted, let's see. There'll probably be a lot of Spidey fans that probably will not care, since most people do not like Carly Cooper due to the fact that she was the post One More Day love interest, and ended up being sort of like the pet character for the writers at the time.
I mean, she's gotten better. I'll definitely say that she's gotten better as a character since.
Yeah, Nick Spencer's taken over. Yeah, I'll admit. But yeah. But anyway, we get on to the next sort of like a storyline. Let's see, which is beginning with issue. But regardless, Last Remains has begun the setup of the long-term consequences of One More Day. Actual proper consequences. Let's see, from the looks of it, or at least implied. But anyway, we begin the next storyline of negative space of like Martin Lee's, let's see, Mr. Negative, which I have to admit, I'm surprised that this is how long it's taken for the Martin Lee to become into the comics.
Well, I think that also has to do with the fact of the PS4 game that came out. I think that's what kind of helped Lee's character come back into,
let's see, popularity.
The fan base.
But I have to admit, because I do believe that most of the Brand New Day villains are not well received, including Martin Lee. Now, apparently interesting premises, but either screwed over by the writing or blah, blah, blah.
No, because I remember when Mr. Negative first showed up, I was like, really? Like, this?
Yeah. But due to the 2018 PS4 Spider-Man game, Martin Lee's character has probably skyrocketed in popularity, or at least the PS4 version.
Yeah. Maybe we could get him in a movie someday. Who knows? Maybe.
I think that's a bit too soon, to be honest. I think at best, Martin Lee would probably work better in a TV show.
Yeah.
Or continue to use him in games.
True.
Oops.
But keep going.
Anyway, the negative space storyline. It's a 3-issue thing from issue 58. I believe 58 to issue 6.
Come on. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually 2-part really. Let's see, 58 to 59. Anyway, we just have a bit of a narration of what's going on with Peter, what's going on, and it's revealed that he's come to face with like the demon. Let's see, the demons, the mafia thing, and he's fighting them. We also a bit of a flashback. It's revealed that Aunt May is treating Mr. Negative. Talking about how he seems to have lost the powers of Mr. Negative, mostly being shot by Sin Eater. Let's see, gaining some peace at last, finally free of his demons, but it won't be long before those demons come back and are trying to take over him. But he's running, but his mafia goons are trying to pursue him in order to get back. Meanwhile, Peter Parker has gone to talk to Liz Allen as a bit of a catch-up with Alchemax, since Liz Allen is no longer sort of antagonistic, I believe, to Peter or Spider-Man. But yeah. Peter ends up remembering what happened the last time he sees them. He ends up talking about, Harry asking if unusual, but Liz doesn't. Eventually with him revealing about what happened, which Liz Allen does not take it well. You cannot blame her. With eventually Normies confirms that, yep, Harry's going on by revealing a closet with goblin gear. And of course, Liz Allen breaks down, which she tends to end up doing whenever, Harry becomes the Green Goblin, I believe. From my understanding. I mean, I have not really read most of the Green Goblin storylines with Harry Osborne. With eventually Norman Osborne entering the house, with then Liz trying to blame him that you're behind this, trying to talk to him, but Peter is holding against him. But eventually he leaves, telling him that he's done with Norman. With Norman trying to warn Peter that a bunch of demons or mafia are at Feast Center with May Parker. With Peter running off into his Spider-Man gi to try and rescue Aunt May and Martin Lee from the demons. As he begins fighting them, as he's pretty angry. But anyway, we get, go to Kindred, being talked by Kingpin. As revealed how, I believe, Kingpin and Kindred met for the first time. A deal thing. But it's revealed that Kingpin has found possibly a way to free himself from Kindred with Mr. Negative powers. And revealed that he's still working with the Tablet of Life and Destiny. We then go to issue 59, where I think we're getting a little bit of a narration of Martin Lee, of how he ended up becoming Mr. Negative and free of his sins. And then Norman Osborn trying to plead with Liz Allen, talking about what happened to him and stuff. And then going back to back and forth, between Norman Osborn and Martin Lee, with Spider-Man fighting the demons. And Norman Osborn taking Liz Allen to Harry Osborn as he is currently right now. And we see Liz pleading and crying of what happens to what's currently happened to Harry Osborn as Peter's fighting the demons. Eventually, Aunt May being taken hostage, with Martin Lee offering up, let May go and I will come willingly. Apologizes to May that it's how foolish he is that he can't escape his demons. But at least he was able to be good, even just for a little while. And then gets possessed again, and Mr. Negative has returned. With Kingpin arriving to arrest Martin Lee. With Spider-Man, unable to do something, but knows Kingpin is up to something. Peter leaves once Aunt May is safe, and then turns back into Peter trying to show that to make it so secret identity thing. with Aunt May commenting on Peter's blood hand, but the two are fine. And then we cut to Normie Osborne with Norman telling him to get away from him, but they have a little bit of a chat. Images of with an image of Norman and Harry at Normie's age. And then come in to have a bit of a talk with Spider-Man watching from afar. But anyway, Martin Lee, Mr. Negative, and Kingpin discuss about the tablet thing, but revealed that talking more about the interference of Spider-Man and Boomerang, and reveals that, why he wants him to claim the tablets and stuff. He's got competition with all the crime mafias you see here: Silvermane, Tombstone, Hammerhead. I believe Owl or Mr. Owl or something. But all the crime mafias, and even some of the ones I don't know, because I don't know all of Spider-Man's crime thing. But yeah, either way, the story concludes. This little mini Martin Lee story concludes. So I have to admit, Lakichi, what are your thoughts of how they portrayed Martin Lee's character for this?
He's definitely a lot better handled, I'll say, than he's ever been in the comics thus far.
So at least in terms of comic-wise, this is probably Mr. Negative's best story.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take?
Well, I have not really read any of the Martin Lee stuff before because they came from Brand New Day, so I can only comment on the stuff I've seen on the PS4 Spider-Man. But I do like. But it seems like Nick Spencer does his ritzy thing of fixing Spider-Man, including fixing characters. Granted, he seems to have fixed a character. Once again fixed a character that doesn't have the best ritzy start, and ends up doing something interesting with them, just like with Carly Cooper.
Yeah.
But I am interested in sort of this gang war that's apparently going on, which we'll get to in issue 61. But before that, we get the big issue 60.
Yes.
And this is what I mainly want to talk about.
I know specifically why. Because I remember, I don't know if I talked with you specifically after this chapter came, but I remember I was reading this and I was like, oh no.
I believe you were, but I did read it before you.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I think I had a bit of worry due to the description of it. Not to mention there's the heart thing, the centipede thing with Peter and MJ. I was hoping that for the love of God that Nick Spencer would not split these two up again, but thankfully that's not the case.
Oh, you mean like with what happened after Spider Island? Yeah, no, right?
Yeah. But anyway, Peter's still having dreams of Kindred as he wakes up, and MJ gives a plate of breakfast and bread. And then she offers to take Peter to some place, which ends up being some theater, so some big break thing. I think her first break. In fact, way back in Amazing Spider-Man issue 96, her first acting job.
That's early. Damn.
Next Spencer seems to know his continuity.
Which is saying a lot compared to... Well, okay, Spider-Man's had continuity, but at least up until Back in Black, I think is when it got weird.
Yeah. But anyway.
Keep going.
He reveals to Peter that, she's taken him to his stage to be like his own show to pour out his feelings. Apparently, this is like a therapy, something that's done to her in the therapy thing. So, with MJ is the only audience of one where Peter ends up talking about weird things, as Peter's just imagining what's going on, as he's trying to imagine that he's talking to Harry. He ends up with feeling that after everything that's happened, he's angry with him, but he always is, but knows that Harry's blamed him. Apparently, of what's happened between his father and stuff. This is, and deep down, Peter feels like this is somehow his fault, his responsibility of how he ended up the way he is. He doesn't know what could have happened to him, but he's always, feels like the people, everything he's done good as Spider-Man, it always seems to affect the people he loves. let's see, about how he tries to do for better after his uncle deaths Ben, but he goes on how he seems to think how everything he seems to be some sort of cycle, some big events that happen to him, but always seems to be back to square one in the ends. In many ways, this issue feels like some sort of let's see, inverse commentary on what has had happened to Spider-Man since post One More Day.
Which was, I want to say 07? I think. If I remember correctly, 07 was when that entire debacle happened. Let me check quick.
I believe, let's see, One More Day was post One More Day was issue 545.
It was 07. Yeah, okay, I was right. So it was so.
Mm-hmm. But from what it seems to be implying that everything that happens to Peter Parker, he gets a job at Horizons, he ends up losing it. He builds his own company, loses it. It's all that kind of stuff. All these big, shaking continuity things. But despite how ridiculous is, it always ends up going back to basics, which is on one hand probably where Peter Parker should be. But it's all these big events that happen to him don't seem to have the long-term consequences that they do. But this is what happens when you have a writer like Dan Slott that doesn't think in the long term.
And just to put this in perspective, you guys, One More Day ended in January 2008. So it's been, at the very least, 13 years. It's still a long time.
So this is how long that issue ends up going. But but he feels like he's been gone from an endless cycle. Let's see, and Peter feels like this has to stop. He'll confess to anything, and asks him what he should do. With we see here him crying in the end, with eventually MJ embracing, and Peter thanking for her that this is what he needed, and thanks her for that, and they end up kissing. As Peter ends up going off, as a classic at Chapter 2. We see Peter glad that he has MJ. As she's looking on, she comes back and she ends up talking to someone, saying that is early and asking how much did he hear. We'll see if this mysterious person saying enough to make MJ can't keep the promises that he can thing. And ends up talking about this partnership, but MJ says not to do anything bad, do anything damaging, because she is her leading lady, and it's revealed that it's Mysterio who seems to be still interacting with MJ after finishing or still continuing on with their movie. With Mysterio teasing how Peter will react to learning that MJ is working with him. Though MJ reveals to tell him soon, though he's got something a lot of his mind, especially the Kindred stuff. Let's see, MJ starting to question Mysterio about what he knows about Kindred and Harry. But let's see, Mysterio says that it's probably best for MJ. There are some things that it's best that she doesn't know. Anyway, we go to, about the road to hell. As he says, you know what they say, about the road to hell. Anyway, we can cut to Doctor Strange, going to see some big Zangoon, which he says no visitors, but Doctor Strange is having it, ends up knocking him out. Apparently, certain Lagoon is someone called Jeffrey. But he says it's fine with him, as he always has time for Doctor Strange and there's some business. Appears to be we're in some sort of casino. Anyway, he ends up talking to him about his position and profit margin. But anyway, Doctor Strange is here to talk about the demon Kindred and what is happening with Peter Parker. He's asking, and the person he's asking what is wrong with Peter Parker's soul, and it reveals that the person he is talking to is none other than Mephisto.
Let me be on record and say this, guys. I think Blue Star and I were chatting about this, and I remember I got to that last page, and I was like, Oh no! Please, can we not deal with him right now? Because
Okay.
Nightmares.
Well, as we all know, the One More Day storyline is what, let's see, which Peter Parker does a deal with Mephisto to save his aunt but erase his marriage. And as I'm pretty sure if you looked up the old streams that we did with Lucky Chi, me and Lucky Chi did, Lucky Chi talked about the despair he felt reading those issues month to month.
Yes, and I think I don't know if we mentioned it on the podcasts we do, but man, oh, that was again. I'll reiterate it briefly, but One More Day, I dropped the comics because of that.
Oh yeah,
and I told myself I'm never touching another Spider-Man comic again after that, because that's how much it destroyed a lot of the things for me. But
yeah. In many ways, it's the equivalent of another series as Gritty Death, but we're not going to get into that, as we've kept so far away from that talk, and we're not going to do it for this one. But yeah, but I think Lucky Chi knows what I'm implying. But yeah, but let's see. But I have to admit, I must admit, of all the things to see from issue 60, I was not expecting Mephisto.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
Let's see. Now, granted, but I am excited for this, though a bit worried. But I am mostly optimistic. So it seems like, without a doubt, Nick Spencer is clearly trying to tackle and address the stuff that happened in One More Day.
Yeah, yeah. So despite my initial reaction, me going like, "Oh my god, we're dealing with this guy again." On the other hand, I'm like thinking, well, we at least finally get to tackle the $1 million question. So, on one hand, this is kind of needed.
Yeah. Granted, of course, we have to make sure Nick Spencer does, probably do what most Spider fans expect, hoping that he addresses. No, of course, he could do.
I mean, we already got a bit of a tease, based on the wedding ring that Peter's holding. So
yeah. So clearly, it's very possible that Doctor Strange, ends up going to be learning what exactly has happened to Peter's soul, because I'm pretty. Maybe end up revealing that. My guess is Mephisto is going to reveal to Doctor Strange that he did a deal with Peter Parker to save his aunt, but ends up also altering his timeline and changing certain events, and as well as damaging his soul to internal misery or something. Which may be the way of Mitzi explaining why every storyline post One More Day has been sort of either, depending on miserable for Peter Parker in the end. Since that seems to be since I believe Dan Slott and editors like Joe Quesada believe that Peter always has to be sort of to be an everyman must always end up being a sort of big loser or something. So to quote, but yeah,
I've got two predictions on this. So how in chapter, how in issue 50 we got the entire thing of Kindred being. Wait, was it 50? Yeah, I think it was 50. Kindred being Harry.
Yeah.
So my prediction is that either we tackle the whole marriage thing with Peter and MJ on either issue 75 or issue 100.
Yeah, it really depends on how long Nick Spencer wants his run to be.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, one thing is, but that's probably when we'll get the next big event thing. But yeah. Since issue 25 ended up being, and a few issues afterwards, ended up being the big, 24 and 25, with the aftermaths of the Hunted storyline.
Yeah.
Feeling Kindred's name with issue 50 being the thing. My guess is, if I had to theorize what's going on right now, it's probably going to be Doctor Strange is probably going to learn of like the deal Peter made with with Mephisto, and which damaged his soul, but had also long-term consequences of resurrecting Harry Osborne as a demon. And let's see. And my guess is Harry Osborne is wanting some vengeance of Peter because he finally found peace at death, but is now being resurrected, and now wants to make Peter suffer for his irresponsible choices and sins, as you will.
Here's my thing. Here's another guess I'm gonna have. What's to say that Doctor Strange and Peter actually team up to take out Mephisto? It's a bold prediction, but it's just a guess I'm having right now.
It is a possibility, though. With Mephisto involved, you're probably going to also have to have MJ involved somehow, and possibly May Parker, and maybe even Kingpin.
Yeah,
all the players.
I have to wonder, and I might have mentioned this last stream, but I wonder, because this whole thing revolved around Aunt May, I have to wonder if she's ultimately the one that convinces Peter to just, let me go.
Yeah, and accept responsibilities and all that stuff.
Like, accept responsibility and,
Granted, the only thing I'm wondering is whether or not Peter's identity will be revealed to the world again, but I assume that due to some of the events that have taken place, I think they're just going to keep him being secret identity because, well, you kind of need Spider-Man to have his secret kept.
Yeah.
It's appeal of the character. Granted, the MCU has now revealed his identity, but the MCU isn't exactly following the Spider-Man comics. But anyway.
I mean, we'll see where No Way Home takes us when we get that movie. But on one hand, though, it's like, okay, yeah, like, let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say Peter is able to get back his relationship with MJ, and they're able to defeat Mephisto. But I think it would actually be really nice because the long-term consequences would be, and this is just me guessing, by the way, is he would lose, or at the very least, Harry will be gone. And I think the biggest consequence will be, just out of that whole scenario, will be him losing Aunt May. But to be fair, I think that makes for a much more compelling story, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but that's just my take on it.
I mean, I think we stated before or in the last stream that either Aunt May should be dead at this point, or if she's going to be alive, she should at least know Peter Parker's identity as Spider-Man, which during the JMS is one which made the character more interesting for a very long time. So yeah. So it was either there should be a cap with issue 400 where she dies knowing that, for feeling she's always known that Peter's been Spider-Man, at least for a while. And then, or at least know who he is, Spider-Man, and become like one of the big supporters in his daily life and stuff, which JMS then end up doing.
Yeah.
But of course, let's see. But who knows? But yeah. But I think after the PS4 Spider-Man game, I think Marvel probably realized that, okay, we probably don't need to keep Aunt May alive.
Yeah, I mean, you can make references, kind of like with what you do with Uncle Ben from time to time. You can do that.
Yep. But anyway, I was going to... Originally, I planned to end this stream with issue 60, but we had to delay. And we ended up going to like issue 61, which is the beginning of the King's Ransom storyline. And it begins with Spider-Man getting a new costume, a new job, a new era of Spider-Man. So yeah, a bit of a narration of what goes on. And then we end up seeing Spider-Man beating up both Shocker and the Hydra Man and some other villain that I can't recall. And we get a glimpse, and we end up seeing Spider-Man's new costume. I don't have an image to show because I don't want to know any things about copyright and stuff, but yeah. But from what I can you can look it up on the Wiki's Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5. in which you see this sort of like silver blue with electric yellow light things around the thing. I have to admit, Lucky Chi, what do you make of this new design?
I think I might have mentioned this to you when we last chatted, but and this was off air, by the way, guys. But I actually quite like the new costume. It's not up there per se with the symbiote suit, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I have to admit, most of the gimmicky Spider-Man costumes that he ends up getting, I do kind of like this one. Maybe because I'm a fan of blue and silver, but heck, but oh well. Granted, I think we all know that regardless of what costume Spider-Man gets, he always goes back to red and blue.
Yeah.
The only long-term sticking one was the black suit.
Yeah, and from time to time, even that'll come back into play.
Yeah, but for the most part, it ends up just being like, let's see. But anyway, we get a bit of a narration. The Kingpin's talking with all the bosses about how his stats as mayors help them expand their territories. There are a few bits of gang wars between them. Let's see, between Owl and Hammerhead. But Kingpin has a job for them in order to continue with their good business thing. And he wants them all to capture someone. Let's see, which they all realize who it is. And it's revealed to be Fred Meyer's Boomerang. And we get a funny joke where all they say, I hate that guy. Boomerang is not really well liked in the supervillain community, is he?
No, he isn't, but it's actually pretty amusing when you think about it.
I mean, he's pretty much, his old teammates, all the villains at the villain bar, all the female villains of Beto Syndicate, Sinister Syndicate operation. But yeah, we get a bit of a rehash of Spider-Man stealing tablets from to stop the Kingpin with Boomerang. But the moment the two are playing Call of Duty Lafayette, but their new pet, Gorg, is breaking wires and stuff. So yeah, so it interrupts their game. Apparently, using Peter Parker's photo skills, they've been taking cute images of Gorg for Instagram. And of course, he's a hit, but not the mega hit that they want to start money out of rent and all that stuff. But yeah. But speaking of money, Peter goes through being unemployed. He gets pretty desperate. He ends up deciding to finally work for Noah Winters. But yeah. Oh boy, regardless of who's writing it, people just do not like this character, Lucky Chi.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think she's pretty much written to be despicable, but then, hey. But anyway, she ends up revealing a new sort of electric suit for Spider-Man. Let's see. Apparently, this suit comes with serious upgrades and making Spider-Man stronger, faster, and also to increase his spider sense, as well as increasing those web shooters. Now, Peter is a bit what does Spider-Man get out of it? Let's see. First, let's see. She ends up putting the mask on with a little intern joke of you're Spider-Man, Peter Parker, not realizing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, of course. It's then revealed that the Spider-Man's eyes have cameras. Allowing him to record Spider-Man's actions and see all the thing. In many ways, it's pretty much the plot line for Incredibles 2.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even think about that comparison until you just brought it up. I was like, now that you
that was my first thought. I was like, okay, they're doing Incredibles 2 here. But yeah.
You bring up a good point. Wow, I can't believe that didn't cross my mind.
For those who do not know, have not seen Incredibles 2, it's pretty much maybe
you should watch it first and foremost.
Yeah, you should watch it because. But yeah, but this is a sort of plot line of how in order to get heroes their public image back. But anyway, I won't go into details. Go watch that movie; it's great.
It is.
Let's see, but yeah, Peter's a bit concerned about this sort of journalism. But he says that the only two people that will know about this is Spider-Man himself, Peter Parker, and J. Jonah Jameson. Since this is apparently J. Jonah Jameson's idea to make Spider-Man a hero. And and they will make it a priority of keeping Peter Parker a secret identity because this current characterization of James Jonathan is like a big Spidey supporter.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm still not used to it, to be honest.
It'll take time.
To be honest, I don't think I ever will. To be honest, J. Jonah Jameson worked best as an adversary for Spider-Man, really.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh well, he's at least trying to make himself to a useful ally of Spider-Man. And then, let's see, Peter's a bit... isn't really Let's see, Peter's still a bit reluctant, but until he sees, like, the pay grade, which, face it... Let's see, sometimes Peter Parker will, might be a little bit less irresponsible for, like, for some of the pay things. Even in his youth, though, granted, of course, nothing too irresponsible, for I think many people hated it when Peter Parker went all paparazzi. But yeah, Peter agrees to the deal. He ends up wearing the suit. Ends up fighting the villains, but ends up getting, like, commentary from Jonas of what to do, like, don't forget the one-liners. Apparently, they've got an app which the audience can submit one-liners to. Which Spider-Man is not first happy about writing, his jokes, so he ends up saying these, like, really bad jokes at first. And then even saying stuff that's like shout out to some friends. He's getting his butt kicked. Apparently, there's an audience poll of what they want to see with Spider-Man, which apparently the webmuck. It ends up using it on them and ends up beating the villains. Then ends up saying a joke. But there's one joke that he doesn't want to say, but apparently the eyes go, do some sort of hologram saying your undies. Funny enough, Peter ends up making commentary like, I used to make fun of a supervillain that said this stuff, and he thought it's the end of civilization, which apparently was Screwball back in issue 559, which I assume was probably her first appearance. But yeah, I'm not really, but I don't really read that stuff, but yeah. But anyway, regardless of what happens, Peter's like, up thing, but it seems to be like, everyone seems to love it, all except one person, which turns out to be Robbie, saying they call this journalism. But yeah. But regardless of Robbie's opinions, as I think Gloria Gant's saying it, this is like, it's causing enough buzz and popularity to do the thing. Due to the fact that, but Robbie is convinced that good old-fashioned journalism wins in the end, particularly their exposure on Lincoln Tombstone. And apparently Gloria has revealed that her daughter has created a new female organization called the Syndicate. Anyway, Robbie ends up going to leave, as he comes to see his son Randy's there. It seems like he's finally going to meet his mysterious girlfriend, which, oh, the drama that's coming up, wouldn't you? Because as we all know, Robbie and Tombstone were old friends turned enemies, and now he's going to learn that his son is dating his daughter. Oh, the soap opera drama here.
Right.
Anyway, Kingpin is talking to Silvermane's head of what to do, and then I believe Tombstone as well. As Kingpin feels that in order to best get to Boomerang, he has found his weakness, in which, as Spider-Man's defeating the villains, he's saying this is not the best debut of the Boomerang Revenge Squad, as I believe he's gotten like Hydra Man, Shocker, and I forget what the. I need to get issue 69. 61 up. I need to know what the name of this villain is. This villain is, I believe. Oh, let's see. Where's the villain? Speed Demon. There we go. But yeah, the Boomerang French God is revealed that these three are distraction so that Deadeye can try and assassinate Gog while Boomerang's taking him out for a walk and oppressing a bunch of girls with dogs. Because of course he is. So it looks like Gog's about to be assassinated. And that's where we're at with the remaining of the latest issues of Spider-Man. So what do you make of this King's Ransom, setup?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I can definitely say that for certain.
It's from what I can tell, from what I can guess, it's gonna either conclude at least this tablet storyline, or at least push it further to its next level.
Yeah.
Depends on how much it wants to do with Kingpin, but yeah. It's going to be a 6-issue story going from 61 to 65 and concluding in the giant-size Amazing Spider-Man King's Ransom, which my guess is probably going to be some sort of like double issue.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. It doesn't really say how many pages there are, but either way, that is going to conclude the storyline and all that stuff. Who knows? Maybe by the end of it, Kingpin is no longer Mayor. We just have to wait and see. But then again, let's see, you might wait a bit until until after. Let's see, until like at least the Kindred stuff is done with before Let's see. But from what I can tell, it seems like during this storyline, let's see, Robbie's going to learn and Tombstone are going to learn that their kids are dating. Spider-Man and Boomerang are going to team up again with Gorg fighting the Kingpin. And it seems to be some sort of like gang war. And it seems like the Syndicate is going to be involved with the last issue, with issue 66 being like the aftermath. Let's see, and find whatever happens with that. Next, and then afterwards, the next storyline appears to be the Chameleon Conspiracy, which is going to be like issues from issue 67 to 69, and concluding with another giant-sized, gritty Chameleon Conspiracy. In many ways, from notes this issue is the last issue, from what I can tell from the cover. It's very similar to like that Craven Hunted one with all the stuffed heads of all the villains.
Yeah.
Villains. Apparently, it's the same here with Spider-Man, with a mix of Spidey's loved ones and some of the villains that have played a part and villains. From what I can tell, this is concluding with the last time when we had that big storyline with like Spider-Man, his sister, with the 2999 with Doctor Doom. Not to mention those like with Silver Sable. Seems like Spider-Man's kind of conflict with quite a few villains, including I think Jack-O-Lantern or something. But yeah, for the moment, we're just getting like small storylines of all the plot threads that Nick Spencer's been doing so far. Currently, we'll have to, go with the gang war with Kingpin and Boomerang and the Tablet of Time. With not to mention with Randy's date with, Beetle. And what that dudes. And then the following one will be more on the whole spy stuff of Spider-Man. Now, out of the two storylines, I'm more looking forward to like this current gang war due to the drama with it all. Not to mention fun with like Boomerang and all that stuff. Now, granted, my only real thing is like the whole Jameson stuff in it and the whole social media networking. Of course, it could be like commentary stuff like the Incredibles 2, but who knows how that plays out. But but for the next storyline, I will be honest, the spy stuff I'm not really all that into with Spider-Man, but it's there. It doesn't look like it's going to be that big a deal, but heck. But it sounds like at the moment there's no more. Kindred would not be dealt with for a while, which is okay. To be fair, you had a mega event with it, so yeah.
Speaking, yeah, you did.
So, what have you made of these like issues so far?
I really dig it. With what we were able to get. Again, I think my main interest, more so, was towards everything regarding the whole One More Day scenario. The fact that we're kind of like slowly reintroducing that again after what we discussed about both in terms of with Harry and then of course with Pete and MJ.
Yeah. But see, people are wondering if they're finally going to reverse it.
Yeah. I mean, it's highly plausible now, given with what we've seen.
Mm-hmm. That does feel like the only reason you'd ever bring Mephisto back into a Spider-Man storyline is to address this thing and then address what happened with More Day and possibly fix or reverse it.
Yeah.
But, of course, granted, there will be some continuity issues, but we'll have to see how Nick Spencer tackles them. But overall, so far, I'm enjoying Nick Spencer's new run and this new era. But yeah. But anyway, with this new costume Spider-Man has, do you want him to keep it for the remainder of the run, or you think he'll just for the story arc?
I think it might just be for the story arc. I think anyway.
Probably for the best. There's no real new because, as we know, new costumes for Spider-Man don't really last. The only one that did was the black one. So yeah. Granted, let's see, probably for the next Spider-Man PS5 game, we'll probably know what one of the new additional costumes will probably end up looking up. Don't you think?
Say what now?
Oh, you know how let's see in the PS4 game, despite let's see, Sony's Spider-Man, or I'm trying to remember. Let's see, the guys who make Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, Insomniac, yeah.
Yeah, Insomniac Spider-Man. They've probably got a new costume suit to wear for the next game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I still need to complete the PS4 Spider-Man game and eventually buy the Miles Morales. But granted, I have to get on PS4 because I do not own a PS5. And it's pretty hard to get one right now. And I think I'll rather wait until it's cheaper and find a way to get away with it without upsetting my mum that I bought another game console.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, but for the time being, I don't need to get a PS5 and I just need to do the PS4 stuff. But the One More Day stuff, let's see, is what we're all looking to see what they do. But for the meantime, they're not going to do it, and we're just going to get some fun Spider-Man storylines, continuing on with what Nick Spencer's built before.
Yes.
We'll probably get some new stories as well, but at the moment, for the foreseeable future, Nick Spencer's continuing storylines that he's done so far with like Kingpin, Boomerang, let's see, Randy and Beetle, and eventually the stuff with the Chameleon and the spy stuff. So yeah, do you have any more closing thoughts on what you need to say, Lucky Chi, or?
No, I think that's about it.
But yeah, it's been fun. I'll join you again for when we get to the next milestone number, which I even going to do either issue 70 or just 75, probably.
Well, unless something really big comes up between now and and later on.
But yeah. But at the moment, we're just let's see. But for the moment, we'll just wait and see how Spider-Man goes out. Though if we decide to do a Spider-Man stream on either the MCU Spider-Man or just like Spider-Man in general, I'm all up for it.
I'd be down. Yeah. I mean, I can't really say you would get into the best limelight if we got Sparta involved with the MCU, but
yeah. Now, granted, I might also try to get James S. Cassidy involved as well, which would be interesting.
It would be, yes.
But yeah, because let's see, most of us on the any manga circle are big Spider-Man fans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally, when it comes to me, like I'm kind of the one who's in the middle when it comes to how the MCU has portrayed it. But that's not bad. It's just different.
But I have no streams planned for that anytime soon. But I do have a stream coming up this Saturday in which you will join me. Let's see.
Yes,
and with possibly a few other guests. I won't spoil what it is, but I'm pretty certain that people might have an idea if they've been following what is coming out this week in manga.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be addressing a few things that have been going on. But for now, tune in, guys, until the next time we discuss Spider-Man. I'm Blue Star Saber.
I'm Lucky G.
And we're signing off. Thank you until next time. And remember,
later.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Unless you can swat it.
And with that joke, we're signing off.